Well, hello everybody once again, and especially welcome back to all my loyal YouTube subscribers who share my passion for looking at these old dirt bike motorcycles from back in the day. Okay, our next featured bike up here on my channel, we're going to take a look at a bike I captured a few years ago, but nevertheless it's still a good looking machine and well worthy of another airing here on my channel. So stay tuned for the next few minutes as we check out Trevor Calderwood's 1967 360 Sidepiper CZ, or even CZ if you're an international viewer to my channel. Now this very nice 1967 360 Sidepiper CZ is just one of the many bikes from the Trevor Calderwood collection. Now Trevor has a very nice compendium of these old CZ, or should I say CZ machines in his collection, and this lovely machine is just one particular bike that Trevor owns. Now back in the day there was many famous world motocross riders raced these old CZ machines, including the likes of Joel Robert, Jaroslav Falta, even Dave Bickers rode one of these CZ machines at one time, and of course famous American rider Brad Lackey also rode one of these bikes during his racing career. Now, as you would expect, Trevor's lovely 360 here is not a fully original machine from back in the day, but nevertheless this bike still has many of its period correct parts fitted. Now, of course, the most important parts are the 1967 original frame and motor, of course, although Trevor has added one or two little improvements to this bike through the years. Now the bike still has its original forks with these slider guards to protect the stanchions from any dust and dirt that may ruin the seals. CZ hubs, of course, as per back in the day. Now the original triple clamps for the forks of course have been changed for a pair of these very high quality billet aluminium triple clamps, which of course are lighter and stronger than the original fitments. Now one of the other upgrades made to Trevor's machine is a pair of these Dutch made Riger shocks which have been added to Trevor's machine. Decent enough upgrade, and certainly much better than any of the originals that would have been fitted to this bike way back in 1967. Now an improved chain guide at the bottom there, of course, with that billet aluminium torque bar for the back brake plate, and the standard CZ hub and sprocket. Now these Czechoslovakian engines were very fast and very reliable little motors, and if I remember correctly had a 10:1 compression ratio, and I think they put out about 34 horsepower, which was quite decent for 1967. Now Trevor's bike still has its original Zhikov carburetor fitted, which is quite unusual on a bike of this age. These are normally changed for a more higher quality Japanese carburetor, like maybe a Mikuni. Now naturally these CZ Sidepipers got their name from this exhaust system, which wrapped round the cylinder barrel and then ran along the right hand side of the bike. Now, of course, this was a very unique system and when you saw one of these bikes on the track, side on, you could immediately recognize it as one of these Czechoslovakian Sidepipers with this very unique exhaust system. Now in 1967, CZ were still using steel fuel tanks on their machines, but later on in the years to come they would progress to using fiberglass fuel tanks for their later machines. Although, as you can see in our particular example, Trevor's fuel tank looks in absolutely first class condition for a 1967 machine, although it may have had a quick repaint during its life. The standard CZ or CZ seat, of course, on this bike, and these were very comfortable seats to lay your backside on from time to time, and in between doing jumps and bumpy tracks. These were very comfortable little seats. Now here you get a better view of those beautiful billet triple clamps used on Trevor's machine. Now Trevor's bike also has Magura levers, not of course all from 1967 naturally, but a beautiful looking old classic machine. Now, one of the other little stories about these old 360s from 1967 were when you actually purchased one of these CZ bikes from the dealership, the machine was supposed to come with a complimentary spares kit, which included chain, levers, connecting rod, full piston kit, gaskets, coil and cables. Now, CZ originally included these spares kits into the price of the bike because back in the day, of course, dealerships who sold these bikes were very scarce. Although some of the other unscrupulous bike dealers would then keep these spare kits to themselves and just add all the parts to their spare parts shelves. Now, in this featured picture you can see Trevor giving the old CZ Sidepiper a day out at a Scottish Classic scramble at Forfar in Scotland just a few years back. But these old CZ Sidepipers were excellent old bikes back in the day, and even won 3 consecutive World 500cc championships for CZ from 1966 through to 1968, with of course East German Paul Friedrichs in the pilot seat. But these old 360s weren't without their flaws. They had that ancient Jikov carb that was troublesome and flooded almost constantly, and what's more, the big motor had a tendency to vibrate a bit. But even with their flaws, these 360 CZ motors were more or less bulletproof. Now, as I mentioned earlier, this is just one of the many machines that Trevor has in his collection, and in our very next video we'll be checking out yet another Czechoslovakian bike from Trevor's collection as we take a look at his championship winning Harry Clem CZ. This video was brought to you in association with WorldSport, the world's #1 supplier for all your off-road and leisure sportswear. Just visit their online website for more information.